dedicated to remember those who fell in defense of the country and the ideals for which it stands.
Near these thousands of military graves, several hundred met to reflect and remember.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming.
Patriotic music set the mood for the annual observance. Military speakers talked of freedom and sacrifice.
So our task today is not to validate the sacrifice, but to acknowledge it, to remember that it was made.
The VFW Hall on Howard Avenue housed another observance. South Mississippi's congressman reminded all about a new generation which also fights for freedom. In places of the world, not always so popular.
We have somehow let the distrust of the commander-in-chief spread over to the point where we're not backing the troops. And folks, that's wrong.
Rodney Wilkinson remembers those who died beside him in Vietnam. He salutes their service and honors their memory.
That's the only thing that we can do for them, is to honor their memory. And most of us feel that one day we'll be there too.
As I told my boy this morning, he says, "You just went to one, why are you going to another one?" I said, "The next Memorial Day, I may not be here. Somebody will have to be there for me."
And somebody will be there, as long as Americans still have the freedom to remember those who helped preserve it. Steve Phillips, Newswatch 13.
Adams. Sergeant Danny Ray Allen. Spec 4 Thomas Barry Allen. Lance Corporal Billy Alvin Allen.
Those are just three names of men who did not come back from the Vietnam War. This memorial shows the pictures and names of all 667 from Mississippi who died in the war. It is their spirit that lives on in these walls.
As you look around this stone-cold granite structure, remember that there's a lot of warm heart and love here.
4 wreaths are placed inside the memorial, one for the Vietnam Veterans Association, one for the prisoners of war, and those missing in action.
And we appreciate you coming out and supporting those that gave everything they had, which was their life, so that we could enjoy the privileges that we have today.
This service honors veterans and their families, but this memorial stands year-round, forever a reminder of the sacrifice paid at war.
It's a place that families can come and Vietnam veterans can come that's at home, that we can continue a healing process that has taken a number of years and continues to take, I think, a lifetime.
There's no record of how many people have visited the memorial in its first year, but they come from all across the U.S., across the state, to pay their respects to the men who died in Vietnam.
It's a personal way of recognizing them so I won't ever forget them, and the sacrifices that they made, and the families of those veterans who have really suffered over the years.
It was loud and smoky as the competition heated up at the Gulfport Dragway. A steady buzz was heard inside, too, as tattoo artists kept busy with bikers. Some things will probably never change at the All Harley Memorial Day blowout, but in the 16 years since it began, its acceptance in the community has made major strides.
A lot of the businesses were afraid if a lot of bikers showed up at a business, you know, they had that image again that bikers cause trouble. Now they have signs up, welcome Harley enthusiasts.
It's true, local businesses have recognized the potential profits by welcoming thousands of bikers to their shops.
It's very good for our business, but I think for the coast in general, it's a very good business in a tourism sense. Riders are coming in, they're shopping at the stores, They're going up and down to the different restaurants. They're staying in our hotels. It's a great benefit to the Mississippi coast.
But to be out here, it's a very good promotion for us, and it lets people know where we are. I'll make a little bit of money, and it's fun to do.
But it's more than coast businesses that cash in on the event.
Down left-hand lane winds. Good time, 11:46, 113 miles an hour.
Entry fees for competitions benefit coast charities like the Multiple Sclerosis Society.
We do a lot of personal things for MS patients, and the Asgard money has been very, very instrumental in helping a lot of our patients here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Bro says he can now see the soft, generous side of these bikers, even if they still appear rough on the outside. In Gulfport, Amanda Jones, Newswatch 13.
We thank you for answering that call to duty so that we may be free.
Ready. Every Memorial Day, the Biloxi National Cemetery uses the Avenue of Flags as its backdrop to salute fallen soldiers.
What greater sacrifice to give your life in war so that generations yet unborn may live in peace.
But veterans say recent generations may be ignoring what soldiers did to protect their freedoms.
I looked throughout the crowd this morning, and I see very few people between the ages of 30 and 40 years old. And that kind of worries me. That sort of tells me that maybe there are some people here who are just not interested in what's going on in our country anymore.
But I also have to admit that with a bit of sadness, that an even larger number of Americans spend this holiday elsewhere, on the beaches, picnics, in the malls or other events, and don't take time to remember.
That's why we're here. I mean, really teach these guys about what's going on and what's happened in the past.
After the 30-minute service, the Wittens walked through the Biloxi National Cemetery with their sons Corey and Nathan. For this family, a real-life history lesson sure beat anything they could learn in school.
Because it's very important that the kids understand that many people, fought and died for this country, for freedom. And I do believe that a lot of people are forgetful of that.
Veterans and families will never forget. Their hope is that the rest of America becomes just as passionate about Memorial Day. Brad Kesey, Newswatch 13.